Hello, everyone. This is Pamela Topchian, and today I want to talk about some of the misconceptions that people have about mental health. I am not a mental health professional in any way, but these are just some things that I've noticed people talk about online. And I actually put up a post about a month ago now asking what people get wrong about mental health. And I got some answers. And so some of that stuff is in here, but also I've been doing some reading on this and just paying attention to some of the myths and misconceptions that people often have about mental health. So, first of all, one of the things that I want to say too, besides that I'm not a mental health professional, is that mental health is just as important and just as real as your physical health. So, one of the things that people often say when people are going through some mental health issues is that there are people who have it much worse. So, they should be able to handle that. Or people say that to themselves, and I've said that before in my life, of course, years ago, but there's people who have been through so much worse, or people who have it so much worse. So, what am I complaining about? Or this shouldn't be so hard for me. So, the reality is that there really is no measure. Different people feel emotional pain differently, just like physical pain, right? We have a pain score for people to tell us how they're feeling in the medical world because we can't measure it. And it is what the person says it is. So some of our emotional pain comes from so many different things, whether it's past trauma, whether it's the stress in their lives, whether it's even their brain chemistry. There really is no comparison to other people. If somebody is not feeling well, physically or mentally, that's up to the person to say, hey, something's off. I don't feel well. And you can't measure that against somebody else's issues in their life or the pain that they're having. So let's just get rid of that. Okay. Like even some people say they don't want to call a mental health specialist. They don't want to contact a mental health professional. They don't even want to call the hotlines or the crisis lines because other people have it worse. But really, if you're feeling off and you're not feeling well, definitely reach out for some help. Definitely reach out for some help. No professional is going to criticize you and tell you and or even think other people have it worse. If anything, they're going to be happy that you reached out before it got too bad for you. So you're sort of nipping that in the bud before it gets much worse. Or you're learning to manage it, whatever it is, before it gets to a point of something much worse. So, no kinds of therapist or counselor or practitioner of any kind is going to tell you that it's not that bad because others have it worse. So, another big issue that a lot of people say, or that you'll hear people say, is that therapy doesn't work. Or I tried counseling or I tried therapy and it didn't work for me. Or my friend or my loved one tried it and it didn't help them. Usually, this is a thought that's based off of one or even a couple different experiences. And really, the truth is that it's important to find the right type of therapy and the right therapist, counselor, or practitioner that's best for you. It's so individual, and it does take diligence and takes patience. And I know that's hard, especially when you're going through things, but so much of this, whether it's health or mental health, so much of learning to manage it or learning to heal or trying to find a solution is a lot of patience and diligence. And yeah, it's hard, but that's what it takes sometimes. Sometimes you might find somebody that you really click with right off the bat, and that's awesome, but it does happen. So there's hope in knowing that it might not take a whole lot of patience and diligence to find the right one because you might find them right away. There's also so many different types of treatments and methods and modalities to help. And what somebody needs and is going to be best for them is going to be different than what another person needs and is going to be best for them. So sometimes, and hopefully, if it's a good therapist or counselor, if they feel like your needs are going to be different than what they can provide, they will recommend somebody else for you for your level of care or for somebody else's expertise. So another misconception, and I've heard this so much, is that medication will just make me numb or take away my personality. And in reality, there's so many different types of medications these days. And a long time ago, they didn't have as many. Whenever you are honest and open with your doctor, your therapist, your mental health professional, whenever you're open and honest with them and letting them know how what is prescribed to you is affecting you, they won't know. They'll think it's working unless you let them know. And there's other options to choose from, and they will just try another one. They usually go with what they feel works best for most people. They'll go with that first. Also, depending, of course, on your diagnosis or if they think there's brain chemistry issues, hormonal issues, or if it's mainly stress, or if you're dealing with something from some past trauma. So a lot of these things go into what they're going to prescribe for you. So if it's not working for you, if it's making you feel numb or it's taking away your creativity or your personality or any kind of level or measure of who you are, then that's not what they're looking for. The medications have really evolved over the years and can really bring out the best version of you. And it can actually help get rid of those blocks that the mental health issues are putting up for you. So what's going on with you before the medication, if medication is the route you and your doctor agree on, sometimes those issues are what's keeping you from being the best version of you. They're holding you back and holding you down and stifling you. So sometimes the medications can bring out your creativity and bring out your personality and just a better version of who you are. Also, I need to say with medications that again, whatever worked best for your friend, your loved one, doesn't necessarily mean that's going to be the right one for you. And I also want to emphasize once again, you need to let your doctor know how things are working for you and give it time because it really does take time for these things to really kind of even out in your system and start to be working at the highest capacity and the best capacity that they can. So it takes some time to know if whatever you are prescribed is going to really work well for you or not. And sometimes it takes a different combination of medications when they work with different dosages. So sometimes it can be kind of a roller coaster through this process of finding what's right for you. But it's not meant to take away your personality or your creativity. So another misconception about mental health issues is that people who are talking about it or posting on social media about it are just really looking for attention. And the reality is that it could be a sign that somebody needs help. It can also be a thing that helps them to cope and to deal with it by getting it out of them, by writing it down, by reaching out and releasing it, right? By posting or talking about it, they might be hoping to find others who feel the same and can understand how they're feeling, and maybe even find others who have found relief from the same kinds of feelings that they're having so that they can help them to find it too, right? So sometimes we think, or other people will tell people that it just takes time. Time heals all. You'll get over it when some time passes. Or, we've all heard this too shall pass, which it's true, but time doesn't heal everything. Sometimes time helps people to learn to live with it, whatever it is, but time alone doesn't heal. So often, processing and support are needed for true healing. Sometimes there's some brain chemistry issues, as we've mentioned before, and those need to be assessed and looked into from a medical professional. We don't need to just get over something, whether it's a traumatic experience that's caused mental health issues or a mental health disorder that stems from something other than trauma. So you're not just going to get over it with the passing of time. You might learn to cope with it better, or you might learn some things on your own. But really, oftentimes it takes processing and real support from a professional. So, another misconception is that it's just the way you're thinking about it, which is true to an extent. I thoroughly believe that having gratitude and staying positive and having hope. All these things can really help. However, not the extreme toxic positivity or anything like that. Or it's not, putting the blame on the person for thinking negatively. I mean, if there's a negative situation or they're feeling off, it's not just the way that they're thinking about it. It's not just changing their mindset. While it's true that for some minor issues, mindset can have a big part of how we react and respond and experience the situation. But for real mental health issues, healing so often, as I've already said, but involves brain chemistry, processing trauma, and evaluating or even sometimes changing their environment or lifestyle. So there's real things going on. It's not just the way that they're thinking about it. Like I said, for some minor things, it can be, but not when we're talking about real mental health issues. So, some other myths or misconceptions are that people with mental health issues are somehow lower functioning or uneducated or have a low intelligence. The truth is really that mental health issues or conditions are found on all educational backgrounds and all levels of intelligence. It's not just in people who have not had education or people who are lower functioning on some level. That two are not connected at all. So, another myth is that children are resilient. Children who have experienced trauma may not have the words for how they feel and may sometimes even seem to behave normally, but it's something that will likely come up later in life and can cause serious mental health issues if not addressed. So, children may need some trauma counseling, somebody to talk to about what they're feeling to help bring out those emotions and to process through whatever they've been through. So, another thing is that people think you're weak, or you may think that of yourself. And that's kind of goes along with other people have it worse, right? Or have been through something worse. So, if you feel like you're weak because you're having these issues, or if you think somebody else is just weak or weak-minded, because they're having some mental health issues or when they cannot handle things, unless you have had some sort of real mental health issues, you won't be able to fully understand how hard it is just to try to live in the world. You can't understand until you've been through it. To be responsible and effectively care for yourself, let alone others, if you're in a position where others are under your care, just living with mental health issues, a mental health condition takes a lot of strength actually to be able to just live in the world. It takes so much strength. So these people are not weak if they're having mental health issues. And if you're having mental health issues, you are not weak. Even if your issues are managed well, all that goes into taking care of yourself and taking care of all of that and addressing all of that takes an incredible amount of strength. So there's so much more I could have said, and I know I'll think of others when I'm done with this. So what others have you heard? And is there any one of these that you'd like me to delve deeper into? And if you have any other suggestions for any other topics you would like me to talk on, I love to hear your suggestions. So let's learn, heal, and grow together. Share this out if you think it might help somebody else. And let's bust those mental health myths. Ugh, say that 10 times fast, or even three. So thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you all. Please read the description, and I hope to see you back.